Imagine waking up in a place that once felt like home, only to realize you're a stranger in your own skin. That's the haunting core of Disconnectedness, explored in the latest interview with acclaimed director Zhang Lu. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this sense of alienation just a personal quirk, or does it mirror a deeper societal issue we all grapple with in our fast-paced world? Dive in as we unpack Zhang's insights from his award-winning films and see why his approach might challenge how you view storytelling itself. Tokyo is buzzing with anticipation as Korean-Chinese filmmaker Zhang Lu brings his poignant meditation on isolation to the Tokyo International Film Festival. Hot off his victory at the Busan International Film Festival in October, where he snagged the inaugural Best Film Award for his visually stunning Gloaming in Luamo, as reported by The Hollywood Reporter at https://www.hollywoodreporter.com/movies/movie news/Busan Film Festival 2026 Awards winners 123638657. Zhang is set to debut its companion piece, Mothertongue, in the main competition at Tokyo's prestigious event. Details available at https://www.hollywoodreporter.com/T-International. These two cinematic siblings were crafted back-to-back in locations just a short drive apart, boasting overlapping cast members, shared motifs, and even some recycled wardrobe items. Mothertongue, which wrapped production first, centers on the struggles of actress Haruki, portrayed by Bai Baihei, who journeys back to her rural roots after spending a decade in the bustling city of Beijing. Her faltering command of her mother tongue amplifies her profound sense of estrangement and solitude. Amid this turmoil, she reconnects with her aging drama mentor, played by Liu Dan, who battles dementia, and finds solace through her son, Wang Chuanjun, who helps anchor her back to reality. This narrative isn't just a personal tale. It's a gentle exploration of how language and place can fracture our sense of belonging, making it relatable for anyone who's ever felt out of sync with their origins. A former literature professor and novelist turned filmmaker, Zhang chatted with The Hollywood Reporter via Zoom ahead of the festival, offering a window into his creative process for these paired projects. First off, hearty congratulations on that Busan triumph. Does the fact that it was the festival's first ever competition make the win even more meaningful? Absolutely. It's thrilling to receive recognition, but I try not to overthink it. Awards aren't a true measure of talent. They're often just a roll of the dice. Landing one doesn't elevate me above my peers, and missing out doesn't diminish anyone's worth. It's largely about timing and fortune. There's a rumor that you stepped into directing after a wager, betting that anyone could do it. Is that accurate? Yes, the bet is real, but it was merely the spark that ignited my latent passion. From a young age, I've always been attuned to sounds and visuals, though I didn't connect those sensitivities to a career path back then. That challenge simply nudged me to explore filmmaking as a viable pursuit, revealing a world I was meant for. You've described leaving writing for cinema as a divorce, but what elements from your literary background have you carried over? Think of it more as switching careers than ending a relationship. Just like remarrying, you carry echoes of past loves that influence new ones. Who knows? I might even reconnect with writing someday, though I wouldn't want to admit that in front of my current spouse in the film world. Laughs. At their heart, both writing and directing revolve around emotion. In prose, I'm channeling feelings onto the page. In movies, I'm capturing them on screen. The techniques evolve, but the emotional heartbeat remains identical, binding them together. Your recent duology, along with your previous works, often delves into themes of border crossing, displacement, and feeling like an outsider, even in familiar surroundings. To what extent does this draw from your own heritage as a Korean-Chinese individual who later relocated to South Korea? It feels predestined. My ancestors immigrated from Korea to China generations ago, and I've spent my life in perpetual transit, across regions within China, and then a decade teaching in South Korea. This nomadic existence hasn't been a conscious choice in my storytelling. It's woven into my DNA, emerging organically. You might say it's karmic. The path of the wanderer seems endless, and this internal rhythm alters how I perceive time in different locales, inevitably molding my creations. And this is the part most people miss. For beginners in film analysis, consider how displacement isn't just physical, it's emotional. For example, think of immigrants rebuilding lives in new countries. Their stories often reflect a universal quest for roots in an uprooted world. It's a common trope that locations in films can act like characters, but in your movies, this sense of place seems crucial. Reflecting on my catalog, not one of my films kicked off with a predefined plot or protagonist. Instead, each originates from a location that captivates me, evoking a magnetic pull. Only then do characters and narratives blossom from that space. In essence, the environment dictates the inhabitants. It forges their very identities. To clarify for those new to filmmaking, imagine a haunted house in a horror movie. The creaking floors and shadowy corridors aren't just backdrops. They shape the fear and actions of everyone inside, much like how real-world settings influence personal growth. What specifically drew you to the areas of Luomu and Mount Imei? After wrapping Mothertongue, I was drained and sought relaxation near Mount Imei, a brief drive away. En route, I stumbled upon Luomu, and its atmosphere held me spellbound. I lingered 3 days without ever ascending the peak. Luomu exudes a rich historical aura, inhabited for over 3,000 years since the Shang dynasty, peaking in prosperity during the Tang era, about 1,400 years back. Today, it's eerily quiet, home to just a handful of elderly folks, yet you can sense the echoes of bygone generations who lived, loved, and eventually vanished. When a site lets me touch that continuum of time and humanity, those lingering imprints, it becomes the birthplace of my next film. This subtle tie-in to history adds depth, reminding us that places carry stories long after people leave. These films strike me as inseparable twins. The Mothertongue production had concluded on a high note, but Luomu stirred something new, a latent romance begging to be told. I reached out to our key performers, Bai Baihei, Liu Dan, and Wang Chuanjun. I confessed, I haven't fleshed out the tale yet, or even my vision, but I'm compelled to shoot here immediately. Fortunately, Bai and Liu were available, though Wang was committed elsewhere. He appears in Gloaming in Luomu only fleetingly, like a spectral presence, mostly through voiceovers. With just a single-page synopsis and our recent collaboration fresh in mind, we proceeded, reusing many outfits from the prior project. I hold that transitions between spaces or eras carry emotional baggage from before. I'm envious of filmmakers who craft entirely novel works in succession. I can't shake those lingering sentiments. They link my projects intrinsically. The exchanges between characters come across as incredibly authentic. How do you pull that off? Mothertongue stemmed from a scant few pages of outline, and Luomu from merely one. Starting with such minimal guidance turned production into an adventure of revelation. A polished script confines everyone to executing a set plan, stifling spontaneity. But with openness, performers tap into their gut instincts, unleashing raw vitality. Our objective becomes fluid, letting genuine intuition steer. That's the secret behind those vibrant human bonds on screen. Much of it improvised on location. We'd brainstorm dialogue, gestures, and feelings collaboratively as we filmed. Post-editing, I had my assistant transcribe the final version into a screenplay. This hinges on unwavering trust, fostering a familial vibe where no script dictates every moment, much like real families navigate life without rigid blueprints. Human connections, rather than plot-driven arcs, seem central to your work. Would you ever tackle a traditional, structured narrative? I'm wary of airtight stories. They feel lifeless, like preserved specimens. Authentic human rhythms and feelings reveal themselves in intimate, unscripted moments between people. Rigid plots freeze emotion, while spontaneous interactions pulse with unforeseen sorrow, delight, or ire. That's my bias against formulaic tales. But to leave room for change, perhaps I'll flip the script one day and produce a meticulously plotted epic. Of course, that'd require a fortune, and the more, the merrier. And this is where the controversy brews. Zhang's rejection of conventional narratives might polarize viewers. Some argue it's revolutionary, freeing films from cliches, while others say it risks losing the audience in ambiguity. Do you agree that unstructured storytelling sacrifices clarity for authenticity? Or is there a middle ground in balancing spontaneity with coherence? What do you think? Should directors like Zhang embrace more chaos in cinema, or stick to tried-and-true plots? Share your take in the comments. I'd love to hear if this resonates with your own experiences as a viewer or creator.